but I do have one that came from my breeder friend where Paisley came from. Hi, Chris. Um, that on her pet dogs, she does a 10 in reverse. So, whatever the client wants is fine as long as you explain to them, that they might get clogged pores, etc., etc. So for her, I'm gonna do a 10, just because she's so hairy and because I want to see what else is going on with her skin, because we have this little sebaceous cyst that came up, and I want to make sure there's not any more in her age that she's starting to get. So this is just a pet trim. Don't yell at me. Okay, so we're gonna take whole body off, the 10 forward. You can do it in reverse if you want to. I don't recommend it, but a lot of people get it that way. Now, the biggest thing that I see with groomers is, let's see if we can get her to stand up straight here. Good girl. Okay. You gotta fall off the mountain, but you gotta fall off the mountain way down here on the Terrier. Not a Cocker Spaniel. Doesn't get a skirt. It just gets an underline, which is just this stuff down here. Now, she's got a fatty tumor under here, so I am going to leave her a little bit more underline than I normally would, but this drops off the bottom of the rib cage all the way, not up here, not here, and then there. It drops all the way off. And you follow through here too. It doesn't go like this. It doesn't go like that and then like that. It goes all the way. You have to follow it all the way across. And you have to take this shoulder all the way almost down to the elbow. See that? Okay, and then this, you follow the thigh muscle and take all of that off. And blend it forward. It shouldn't just stick straight out. It gets all blended down in. You take off the whole rear end. Whole tail. I'm gonna have to turn her now. Okay. Follow that thigh muscle, curve around, and then take off the back. Don't take all this in here off, just take off the back. Now, like I said, she's an older lady, so we've got some lumpy bumpies and such going on. There was one. Looks like there was one there. Okay. All right, we're gonna fall off the mountain. Fall off the bottom of the mountain. Don't be afraid to go right off the bottom of that rib cage. She's a little itchy. She's a little itchy. Try and do this so you guys can see. All the way down. And like I said, I'm going to leave her a little bit more because she's got that old lady fatty tumor thing underneath there. All the way down, almost to the elbow. That's part of where you lose that look too. You leave it up too high, and then you can't get that leg to look right. That's because you're worried about it. Okay. Take off the whole front of the dog. They don't have a chest. They don't have a keel. They don't have a whole bunch of stuff sticking out up here. So you have to take, yes, even the cowlick. You take the whole front of the chest off like this. That's pretty much the end of the clipper work for her, because I don't really want her legs any shorter than they are right now, except for in the summer when I decide to buzz them off. Okay, and we do these feet just like we do all our other bevels. Except it's a terrier, so it's going to end up being a little bit tighter. It's not going to be big and floofy like the cocker. We take all of this stuff off the bottom all the way around. Set the foot down. Comb everything down and go right flat around the outside. And we comb everything up so it's standing up straight. Now she's almost got enough coat, like if I was showing her. The front legs are pretty good. Her back legs could use some more hair. But for the purpose of pet grooming, this is perfect. I'm going to comb it all up. Make sure this foot is nice and tight. And then we trim straight down from the top, going slightly out when we get towards the bottom. You can flip your curves over and do it this way. Really tight at the top, and then just kind of flip them out a little bit once you get to the bottom. Just let her shift because she's older. Just have to keep combing it up. One of the other options you can do is if you've got one with, you know, good coat like this, you can run a clipper comb down it. You know, so it's kind of Schnauzer-esque, but it's not so much hair for them to brush in between. But you're scissoring straight up and down with the foot down on the ground. Okay, so we got a nice little column leg in the front. And then the underline, if she didn't have her little fatty tumor thing right here, I would trim it right here like this. I would take all of that off, so all she has is an underline, because she's got plenty of chest and she's got plenty. If she wasn't an old lady and if I was showing her, she didn't have that little fatty tumor underneath here you can see it's pretty big. So it kind of hangs down, so I don't really want to, but if she didn't have that, her underline, the bottom of her chest is up here, like right there. Okay, so we don't have a whole bunch of skirt and stuff that's supposed to be hanging down. This should come off right there. And then on dogs with really good body structure, and they're not older, like she's older now and she's starting to get a lot of like little tumors and stuff. you can almost eliminate that underline altogether and just have like a little fringe at the bottom. There is no skirt. There's not a big huge thing hanging off the bottom. The only reason she has this much is to cover up that little fatty tumor and show you guys the shape of what the underline should be. So it should come straight like this to the elbow. Okay, and then for the back leg, do the same thing with the bottom of the foot. And I'll come around to the front of the front leg in a few minutes, but she's an older lady, so we're going to let her stand here for a minute. We're going to do this side. Okay, yeah. Pull all that through gentle, and then recomb the top so you don't pull out the top hair. Right around the bottom. You can take that off with your clippers too if you want to. It's up to you. And then set your foot down. Comb it all down. And you go right flat right around the outside edge. And then lift it up a little bit. Do it again. And then the top of her foot, you can see when I fluff that up, goes into her leg. If you take that off, yeah, really, the top part of the foot here goes into the leg.
Okay, then I need to let me get onto this side here.
Okay. If you comb that down and trim it off. Okay, so if you lift the foot up and you trim all that off, then you get a pointy little skinny foot and you can't figure out why that doesn't look right. So you have to leave this part to go into the leg. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And then this is gonna look a little bit funny here because it's growing out. But again, you know, if it's a pet dog, you can take a clipper comb to that and that's what it's going to look like. And that's fine. But you've got your correct Schnauzer pattern when you do this. Okay. Well, if you want to stay where you're at, and I'll bring her around this way. Okay. Do the inside of this leg in the front. Okay, finish going around the outside edge of that foot. And then you go straight up and down on the inside. Now if you pick your foot up and do this, you're going to go into your armpit and make a hole. So again, I always try to do this with them standing if at all possible. And she's an older lady, but she still does pretty good as far as standing, and we're probably only going to do like half of her on the filming part, and then I'll finish her up quick so you guys can see the finished product. And then we take this off from this way and leave this part to fill in across the chest. She's missing some hair as she gets older, but you guys can see the idea. Okay, so you got a little column leg here. And then straight across here. And then I'll turn her around again. She seems to do okay with that. And then the inside of the back leg Comb everything up. Notice how I didn't take all this stuff out? You can, but when you do, you get, they look like they're bow-legged. Or, you know, sometimes they chew it out or whatever, but you're not supposed to actually take that hair out. It's supposed to go in and make it look like a
Nice
capital
straight
A.
line.
When you put your comb across, it looks like a capital A. Same thing with poodles and all of that. Okay, so since this is a pet trim, normally we wouldn't trim quite as much of this stuff, but we're going to take some of that off. Make it lay down. We're going to take some of that off. But with this kind of drop coated part, you have to keep combing it up and then trimming it down.